So I've just finished the book, The Millionaire Fastlane. Now, this book, not gonna lie, it made me realize that I'm not where I thought I was. Well, kind of a little bit. The reality is that basically with this book, there's three different walks of life, if you can basically say. You've got the sidewalk, you've got the slow lane, and you've also got the fast lane. As you can probably imagine, the slow lane are people that, you know, make a lot of excuses. They blame everything on other people. You're just your typical people that are just not really in it to try and get rich. They blame like the environment that they're in. They blame their surrounding, the people that they surround themselves with, anything other than themselves, and they don't try and do anything to try and get out of that. Then you got your slow lane. So the slow lane, you can still get rich by doing it, or as the book was trying to say, trying to be a millionaire in it. With the slow lane, it's just your typical. You go to work, you get your pension, you invest in S&P 500, and it's more of a gradual wealth than actually trying to get rich quick, basically. And the other one is the fast lane. As you can probably imagine, it's people that try and get rich quickly, because in this book, it tries to say why be rich when you're like 60, when you only got, I don't know, 10 years if you're lucky, 20 years if you're even more lucky, of being rich and having that money as well. Where in the fast lane, you try and be rich quick because you have more time to spend all your money. Basically, that is the gist of the book. So when I was reading this, the lane that I felt like I was in, because the book did target me when I was reading it, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm in the middle of slow lane and also the sidewalk. I will admit, I'm a big excuse person. I love excuses. I love blaming other people. But this book made me realize that I need to actually stop blaming other people, and I actually need to start blaming myself for not being in the position where I was in. Now, when I did door to door, I did learn the ability of accountability. Everything that you did was down to yourself. But some things were a little bit rigged where it wasn't really down to yourself. And some people got head further because they were more light. I'm not going to lie, I was one of those people. So it is always down to yourself, and you got to hold yourself accountable. And I think this book really does make you realize that you do need to be accountable, which I felt was a good thing because it attacked me, but I needed it. Another thing that I realized when reading the book is that I'm not doing this quick enough. If I really want to be rich quick, my goal is probably by the age of like 35, 40. So I've already got like 10, 15 years left, because time goes quickly when you get older, right? And especially if I'm doing like one video a week, if you guys are lucky. If not, then you might have to wait a couple months till my next video. Then I also don't really post anything on my socials at all. My music, well, it's coming at its own speed. But if I really wanted to get everything going and try and be rich as quick as I can, I need to be putting in the work. And I feel like that's why I'm more in like the slow lane than rather the fast lane, because I'm still doing the S&P 500. I've now got dividends thing. I decided to now go into my pension because I don't know when I'm going to be leaving the country to be with my girlfriend and all that sort of stuff. So at this moment in time, I've got to stay in this job. And this job's actually all right. It pays shares as well. So I'm trying to think long term for that, just in case in the future as well. If I do need my pension, it's free money at the end of the day, right? And I was always an advocate of why need a pension when I can just use that money anyway. Then I realized it's just free money. Now, you can get rich in the slow lane. It just takes a long time, especially with your pensions. You can get like a really good pension. I know my mum's pension return, I think overall was I think it was like 60% she was earning, which is crazy. That's way more than like the stock market. Then also you got the stock market. You just put money away every month. Stock market, S&P 500, or the FTSE 100 or whatever. You're going to do decent, right? It's like an 8 to 10% return. Not bad at all. So thankfully, I'm doing YouTube, and also I've got a clothing brand that I really need to actually get going and start getting them to grow. So then I can eventually leave these jobs, because it's great getting paid monthly. But for me, I don't want that. I don't want it anymore. And while I'm doing my work at the moment, fuck me, I'm bored as shit listening to these like hour, 2 hour meetings that I had today. Right, I wanted to sleep. I wanted just to do work. So I need to get this thing moving and dip. Another thing about this book was language to yourself, which I thought was a bit different, right? So I have done my own book. It's like a little journal that I've done. I literally just called it Road to Success, right? And then inside have like habits and stuff that I need to write down, make sure I'm hitting targets that I set myself. If I don't do the targets, then I can't reward myself. But when I was doing this in the this book, Millionaire Fastlane, it was saying that what you're doing, you got to think like that. So when I was, so if I'm writing that book, I got to think like an author. If I'm going to the gym, I got to think like I'm an athlete rather than just I'm just going to the gym for health, right? Or if I'm doing my song, I need to think I'm a musician, not I'm just doing a song. And then that kind of like changes your mindset into putting yourself into those shoes. Once you put yourself in those shoes, then you start acting like that. And then that's how you become richer and famous and all that sort of stuff. Speaking a bit of like, I don't know the actual words I'm looking for. You're speaking into like existence. So for me personally, when I'm doing my song, I'm running my business, I'm doing my YouTube. I need to step into those mindsets of those people and actually treat it like that instead of just like, oh, I'm just doing it for fun. Because don't get me wrong, I love doing all of this, but I need to be in the mindset like them sort of people. And hopefully that would just take my growth from like, well, my growth's there and try and get my growth all the way up here, which would be cool. After reading the book, I have started thinking more logically. As you probably are aware, I am an emotional person and I take stuff to heart quite a bit, which I might not seem like I do, but deep down on certain things, not everything, certain things, I like to have a joke around. But I need to start thinking more logical, especially when it comes to like business and numbers and data. I need to start looking at them more because the more logic you are, especially in like business and like numbers, well, it's basically making money, so it's just a numbers game. If I'm getting too emotional about it, or if I'm got my record label and there's an artist that I really want and they say no, I don't want to be on your record label because it's offering me more money. Can't think emotional about it, blah, fuck's sake, I really wanted to get that artist. I just go like, okay, no worries. It doesn't align with us. We don't align with you. That's unfortunate. Then we just got to move on to the next person. And at the end of the day, I want to try and help as many people as possible whilst trying to help myself. So yeah, really, I have started taking things a little bit more seriously. As you know, my videos are coming back. We're going back active on this. Um, and I had that quite a long emotional period where I'm just a bit like, I need to get a grip. I need to get shit going. I need to get shit moving. So now we are moving in the right direction. Even if it does take a little bit longer than what I expect, at least we're moving in the right direction. As long as you get better 1% each day, that's the main thing. So my honest opinion on the book, do I think this is a life-changing book? Maybe. I think it depends on yourself. I feel like you're going to get attached like me. Yeah, it's a little bit of a life-changing or more of like a realization book. Or for someone that wants more than they're just their typical job and they do want to try and make a bit more money or they want to try a side hustle out, I would highly recommend this book. Now, I'm not trying to disrespect people that want to stay in their job, do a 9 to 5. At the moment, I'm enjoying my 9 to 5 a little bit. It's comfortable. I know what time I'm in. I know what time I'm out. I know I know when I'm going to get paid. I know how much I'm going to get paid. And also, when it's like 5 p.m., I'll clock out. Like, I've got nothing to do with that job anymore. And when I'm in the job, like, I care, but I don't really care. I care about doing a good job for me. But I couldn't give a shit, like, what a customer shouting at me down the phone. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But if that was my own company, oh my God, yeah, I'll take that to heart. I would highly recommend giving this book a read, but it might relate to you, it might not. If you don't think it's going to relate to you, then don't read it. I'm not sponsored, I don't give a shit. But if you're trying to do what I'm trying to do, I would recommend reading it. But it's all good reading these books, but I actually got to apply these in the real world. And if I don't really get anywhere. I just come a little bit more knowledgeable. So I need to start getting my shit together and, trying to get more of these videos out. That's a good thing. I know I need to do content for Forbidden Sound. I didn't even know why I'm putting it off. I got to do it. Some things. I listened to like this quote, and it was like, "The things that you don't want to do is what's stopping you grow as a person." On the lines of that. So me not trying to do the marketing is stopping my business from getting customers. So I need to go and do it. Thank you for watching the video. If you have liked the video, like and subscribe. If you want to pop a comment down as well, that'd be much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one.